making commercial platforms more usable. Call 866-224-5422. Toll free 866-224-5422. AMP2.tv, the first and only internet television network that's truly plugged in. 866-224-5422. That's AMP2.tv. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to Serendipity Style, where every week I will show you some of our finest luxury handbags, fashions, and accessories from my designer consignor boutique, as well as amazing guest appearances with stories beyond belief. Serendipity East is now located at 111 East Palmetto Park Road, Boca, 1 block east of Federal Highway on the north side. Call us at 561-338-0656. So let's get on with the show. Good evening, everyone. Serendipity Style. It's Lisa once again, and I have another beautiful woman with me. And her name is I call her Sandy Kagan
right.
Angel.
Correct. You got it right.
Yeah, thank you.
Got it right.
I'd love to hear what you do because you came in the store the other day.
Yeah.
And it was quite fascinating.
Well, you were recommended by another client of yours, and you and I started talking, and I thought, well, God, this could be a good match. What we do specifically is we are Chic Lady Closet and Apartment Organization.
Love that.
And what we do is different than most closet organizers. We do not just come in and take things out of your closet and say, oh, we're going to donate this or that. We come in with a crew, and while we bring our own racks,
right,
and while we're doing that, someone is in your closet cleaning it, dusting it, vacuuming it, making sure that when everything does go back, it is spotless.
And we know how dirty a closet can be.
You know,
the little
people don't
dust balls and
people don't realize, mainly because the lighting in the closets today are not great.
Very poor.
And lighting is so important, especially when you spend money on clothes and you want the clothes to be worn and look right.
And not have spots when you take them out.
Well, that's another
and then
big
get to wherever you're going and look down and there's a climatic
you are.
spot.
That's another big issue.
Yeah.
And then what we do is we hang everything on a rack.
Right.
And you sit down. You're the queen for the day.
Ooh, I love it.
And we go through everything, and there's 2 piles, keep or donate.
Okay.
We will donate the stuff to the charity of your choice, or we have people that would love to get it, such as abused mothers who are in homes and things like that. We make sure those clothes go to the right people.
Right.
Number 2, after we've done that, we go through everything to make sure it fits you.
Right.
Things go into a closet. 5 pounds can make a difference.
It sure does.
Up or down.
Yep.
They can make a difference. The other thing that we do is we check all the hems, all the seams, all the zippers, and make sure everything is working right.
Oh, good. Okay.
When you've finally decided what you're going to keep and what you're going to donate, we box up what you're going to donate and get it out. Clear the clutter.
Right.
We do this with shoes, handbags, jewelry, as well as clothing. Today, things are changing very fast again. A lot of things are going back on the fashion scene to more traditional, the longer jacket, the little padded shoulder.
Yes, yes.
It gives you a look. Jeans, of course, are a staple in everyone's wardrobe, but jeans change.
Yes.
Looks change.
Yes.
So don't get rid of your jeans. We have to make sure they fit, and the legs will change. As a matter of fact, this season in Paris, they were wearing a wider leg jean.
I love the wider leg. I had that on yesterday.
Yeah,
I love that
everybody
look.
loves the wider leg.
Yeah.
The skinny jean is going to take a back seat to it very shortly. Those things happen.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that go on. You'd be surprised when you go shopping in your own closet.
Right.
The things that you have and you've forgotten that you have. And we make sure that everything is proper and done right. We also do gentlemen's clothing.
Right.
We do offices, and God forbid you have a loss in the family, we will come in and inventory everything in the apartment.
Very important.
Very important. Send you a complete inventory list with photos. We have connections with one of the finest auction galleries in Palm Beach.
Good for you.
That would come up and take a look at things that, you might want to auction off.
Right.
We do nothing without your approval. So there's a lot that goes on into it. It's not just coming in and
cleaning out a closet. Yes.
We are
very personalized.
Very personalized. We want to know about your lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, do you like to go out in the nighttime? Do
Right.
you like to go to fancy restaurants? Are you more of a deli girl
Yep.
or a man? And the other thing is that we were hoping to start giving classes to young people, and we might use Serendipity for this.
Yes, yeah, I love
young
that.
people who are just graduating business school that don't realize, especially in Florida, the way you dress is the way you present yourself.
Presentation is everything.
You and
that's
I both know
my key.
that.
That's key.
That's key to
Yep.
everything.
Yeah.
The way you present yourself. And a lot of young people, it's gotten to a point in the quality of the way people think about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Grooming is so important. How you look when you go in for a job interview is so important.
Because you still are judged.
Yeah, oh
You
yeah,
know, no matter
you are
what,
judged.
you're judged.
That's
People
exactly
look at you
right.
and you are what you.
You are what you wear.
Yeah, you definitely.
Right. But your clothes should never wear you. You should wear the clothes.
Yes,
That's
yes. I've seen that. What is it? Faux pas.
Yeah.
Many times.
Yeah, that's what's the most important thing. You should wear them, but they should also reflect your style.
Yeah.
And when you're young, that's the time to create your style.
Right.
Whether it's a little funky, whether it's more classic,
Mm-hmm,
whether you're a Burberry girl or you're a Forever 21,
Right.
you still can't afford things.
Yeah.
We also do personalized shopping.
Which is great. You do. That's so good.
Yeah.
Because everything that you're touching upon is very well.
Well, it's a lifestyle.
Yes.
It's a
And
lifestyle.
the lifestyle changes also. You know, at one point I remember I was more tailored. And now I'm a little bit more eclectic, in what I wear.
Right, it does change. Or sometimes it doesn't change.
Right, yep.
But they say you reinvent yourself every 10 years.
That's true. I
And
believe
you do.
that's true. You know why?
You do.
Your body changes every 10 years, too.
That's another
Curves
issue that
change.
that's another issue that
Yeah.
women deal with. As you get older, you might be very slim, but as you get older, you have a tendency to get a little hefty. Not
And it doesn't matter.
weight-wise.
Yeah. Your body shifts.
Yeah.
A lot of shifting.
A lot of shifting goes on. And the other thing is that you have to be aware of that. You have to make sure you have the correct undergarments on. It's very interesting, and I always go back to the women in France because for some reason or other, I don't care if you're a secretary, a shop girl, or you're an executive, they seem to have their pulse on knowing what is right.
Yeah.
You got to start with your undergarments. You got to make sure that they fit you properly.
Key. I know. I have 2 drawers filled with undergarments.
Right, and every undergarment goes with a different
Yes,
thing.
that's right.
All right,
That's right.
You don't need a lot of them. You just got to make sure that they fit properly.
Exactly.
And
That's why I have 2 drawers, because I think this one's going to work, and it doesn't, and I don't.
Go
but
to the-
I
go
like
to the
the
next
one piece. The one
Right.
pieces are really
And
nice
then,
now.
Let's go on to another very big thing.
I have one more question to
Sure.
ask you. Does it matter the size of your closet when you're going in? Does it have to be massive?
No, it can be a small closet. We also will come in and take a look at the closet and say, okay, this is what we need to do. We're going to get baskets for your scarves.
Okay.
We're going to get baskets for your belts. We're going to figure out how to get your jewelry more
Right.
usable, that you don't have to throw it into a drawer and things get broken.
Yeah.
We do all that.
Good. So it doesn't have to be mansion homes. It could be
Oh no, it could be a small closet, a
That's
small apartment.
exactly. That's
There
what-
are
that was what I
things that
wanted
you
to
do
get
in
to.
small apartments that people don't realize that can be done. It's just a matter of vision and how you take care of it. We also feel that it is very important that you understand your accessories. That is key to your style.
Yes, true.
Okay.
True.
You could have one pair of blue jeans, one black skirt, one black top, a couple jackets, and that could be a wardrobe, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But it's the accessories that make the difference in how you use them.
always.
Always.
I know that.
You
I
know that? Well, you
Yeah.
know that from Serendipity.
Yes, it's my
And
world.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know that, and that's how it goes.
If
and
someone wants to reach you, if they want to reach out to you, how can they
we're
find
very
you?
private. We don't do a lot of advertising. We mainly get our clients through recommendation.
Okay.
But if they're looking to make an appointment with us, consultations are free,
Right.
they have to call us at our office, 561-235-5353.
561.
235-5353.
Okay. Okay.
They can call us at the office. We do not do a lot of advertising, otherwise we wouldn't have time to breathe.
That's right.
You know, and we'd like to give all our clients the special attention that they deserve.
Yes. Yep.
They really deserve.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. We did a home where the mother had passed away.
Yeah.
And the girls just couldn't seem to handle it. And we went in and we said, go to Starbucks. Just go to Starbucks, sit down, take a walk, relax.
Yep.
And it was especially with the clothing. Clothing is a very personal item.
Yes.
And they didn't want to give up this and they didn't want to give up that.
Separation anxiety.
Very much so.
I see that all the time.
And we try to make that as easy as possible for them. Get them out. We go through everything. Everything we see that does not matter, you know, things that, house coats and stuff like that. But we do plan to, we put it on racks, we bring them in, we sit them down, we sat them down, and we said, okay, this was your mother's Ralph Lauren blazer.
Right.
All right. Which one of you wants it? There's a fly in here. Is there a fly? Which one of them wants it?
Yeah.
And which one is it going to fit?
Right.
All right. And it was interesting. Only one of them really wanted it, so there was nothing to squabble over.
Perfect.
When you get the emotions out of the way and hopefully help them that way, that's key to knowing what to do.
Right. Right.
And it's important. You know, everything has to be treated with respect.
Yes.
And with confidentiality.
Yeah. I noticed with me in the store, people, and I've said this many times, when people bring their items in, their clothing, whatever it is that's precious or that they bring in, they're very much attached to what they bring in. And we talk about it. Where's the fly?
There's like a little fruit fly.
Oh, it wants to hear us. It wants to listen to it. Maybe it has a wardrobe it's going back to. But in a couple of weeks, if I call them and I remind them, whatever it is, the question I have about that particular item.
Yeah.
Sometimes they say, well, which item was that again? Or it takes a couple of weeks for my consignors to detach from what they brought in. Not everyone detaches, but there are a good percentage.
Well, it's like
it's out of the closet, out of sight, out of mind.
When my daughter got married, right, she wanted to save her bridal gown.
Well, that's different.
What for? I don't know, because it was the 1980s.
Right,
and
exactly.
It was the big puffy sleeves.
Yeah.
But what I do have, which will probably mean a lot to my granddaughter, is I have her headpiece and her veil.
Aha. See, that's why. That's the good reason for saving it. Or I know people that have remade it for their, and I do, for their daughter, their granddaughter. It gets remade, or they pass it to the family.
Right, and that's important too. That really is. But, today things are changing so fast in our economy and everything else. Clothes are very, very expensive. Even your inexpensive brands like the Gap or the Limited or what, and they're not made well. That's the other issue.
True. Very true.
There's nothing surpasses quality. All right. And when you go into a store to buy something, as you well know, especially with the quality of clothes that you have in your shop, you've got to look at it really closely because it might seem like a bargain.
Right.
But 6 months later, it's no bargain.
Sure. Well, don't they say that the outlet stores are not really outlet stores?
Well,
the clothes are made for the. It used to be where whatever they didn't sell in the main stores would then go to the outlets. I know that, but people don't realize that.
People do not realize.
They think it's outlet from the main store.
No.
It's not. It's made.
Yeah, it is. Some of it is.
Well, but
some
a lot of it is made for the outlets and with
without
a lesser quality.
And in China.
Yes. Well, that we know.
And in China.
Prada's made in China.
They
make. People don't realize that either.
A lot of fine clothes are made in China,
yes.
but your finer clothes are made in Italy or France or France.
Yes.
And you pay the price for them, but it was interesting. I was going through my own closet the other day because I was thinking of what doesn't fit me anymore, which I hated to give up, but it just, the body has changed and everything. And I was looking at the clothes that I have invested in.
Right, and they're beautiful clothes, by the way.
Thank you. Invested in. Investing in a fine blazer is almost a 10 to 12-year investment.
Yes, yeah.
A fine leather jacket.
Yes.
Not pseudo leather.
Those are all staples in your wardrobe for many years.
That's right. Yep. And, we live it's been very warm here, so it's been very hard for people to dress, period.
I know.
And, go out.
We
But
might
now
have a
that
cold
it's,
spell and it's
yeah.
over in 24 hours. So.
Yeah, but you know what? It's good, cool down at night.
Yeah.
If it's in the 60s, it's beautiful to wear something
Yeah.
like that. So, people today, women and men both, want to be a little more sophisticated. Gone are the flip-flops.
Oh.
No. I'm not talking about those
Right, I know.
flip-flops. The flip, walking into a restaurant in flip-flops and cargo shorts.
Right, exactly.
It just doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Because you're not presenting yourself properly.
Right.
And it takes so little effort to do it.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Put a pair of shoes and a pair of pants on, and
Right.
you're dressed.
The whole thing is, and people don't realize, when someone looks at you, they don't look down and then up. They look at you from the waist up first.
Yeah.
So the investments you make in
That's
fine
true.
clothes should be your jacket.
Right.
Should be your under. This jacket I have on is a Ginny jacket from Italy.
I remember that. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
from
That's-
Italy. I don't
yes.
even think they're in business
No,
anymore.
no.
And I must have bought it maybe 12, 15 years ago. And it's still perfect.
Yes. Because the shoulder pads are right.
Shoulder pads are coming back in. The
yeah.
longer jacket is coming
I
back in.
love a long jacket.
Yeah, well, it does something for the body.
I really love it. I love the look of it. So I'm so happy about that. I didn't like the short jackets. Some of them were right under your bust.
Right. The other thing that we like to do with some of our clients is we like to teach them, I'm sorry to use that word,
Well.
but some people need to be taught
Yes.
that nothing has to be exactly perfect. Let's say you're going out for dinner. Right. No, there are black tie affairs, but those are all up in Palm Beach. And they're wearing into the glitzy gowns, which is going to go away very fast.
Yeah.
But there are things to do today that people don't realize. And Sharon Stone was a classic example of that. Remember that
Of course,
at the
yes.
Oscars?
Oh, yes.
Where she came in with that magnificent ball skirt and a Gap white T-shirt.
Oh, I remember,
Do you remember
that. Yes,
that?
of course I remember
With a
that.
little denim jacket
Yes,
over it.
yes,
That was
yes.
fabulous.
Yeah.
Imagination.
Yeah.
Use your imagination when you're dressing. That's very,
I love
very
to play with
important.
my clothes. You
Yeah.
know, I always say that. I tie it, I twist it, I turn it, I
Absolutely.
I try
a
things
scarf
out.
can become a belt,
Yes.
all right?
Or it can become a bolero.
Or that's right.
Yeah.
Or it could become a bolero.
Yeah.
Or if it's a big enough scarf, it can become a beach wrap
Absolutely.
when you're traveling.
Yes.
So
yeah.
let you take those things. Also, there are gems to be found in really offbeat places.
Right.
You can find certain gems. I remember I was shopping at, I think it was a little flea market, and there on the rack, and I don't even remember how much it was, but it was not expensive. It was a crinkled cotton like cape.
Oh.
And it was black,
Right.
which nothing surpasses
Yeah,
black.
absolutely.
And I picked it up, and I didn't figure out what I was going to do with it. Well, I brought it home, I put it on, and I took a cinch belt from Chanel with a rose on it.
Love
and I
it.
took the cape, and I cinched
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
and it became a whole different thing.
Yes.
So
yes.
we work on teaching you how to use your accessories,
yeah.
how to use them to best show off what you're wearing.
And that's what I sell. I always sell the most handbags and accessories. I mean, clothes are clothes, but handbags and accessories are, once again, very important to
They're
have.
very important.
And that's what I'm always looking for. I'm always looking
And
for
the
that.
other thing is shoes.
Yes.
All
oh,
right.
boy. Shoes.
Shoes, yeah. Well, shoes are a problem for women.
They really are.
Yeah.
More so because since I have a problem, everyone else has a problem.
Right. Well, not only that, you think back, I mean, when did shoes get so expensive? They've gotten absolutely
They're as
crazy.
much or more than a handbag.
Right. Without question, Louboutins.
Sure.
Or,
And you can't
or
even walk in most
Bruno
of them.
Bruno
They're
Magli-
uncomfortable.
That's right.
Yeah.
Shoes are a big thing. Classics never go out.
Right.
I mean, if you build a wardrobe of classic shoes.
What's a classic shoe to you?
A classic shoe to me is a shoe that is not too pointed, not too rounded, black, brown, basic, not a 12-inch heel.
No, or
which
glitz and
nobody
glam.
would- Yeah,
Yeah.
or glitz and glam.
Yeah.
They have their place.
Right.
If you want to have fun.
Right. But not for a classic.
Not for a classic. And when you invest in a classic shoe, it's there forever.
Right.
You know, and it can be a slingback
Yes.
or it can be closed. But classic is classic.
Yeah.
Bruno Maglia has a ton of classics, but they're expensive.
Yeah.
But you buy one a season,
Right.
and you just keep building a wardrobe on it.
Yeah. And it is sometimes best to have a couple, 2, 3 good pieces, and then have your play or trendy pieces
Around it.
and only have a few trendy pieces.
Right, because trends come and go.
Oh,
so very
they're
fast.
only good for a season
I
or
mean,
two.
I cannot tell you the year. I forget when it was. A couple of years ago, when that fringe trend came out.
Oh, yeah, yes,
and everybody
yes.
was running to buy the fringe bags, and
Right,
the fringe
yes.
boots, and
Yes,
all that.
gone.
And that's gone.
Yes, that's really
that's
gone.
Totally
Yeah.
gone.
Well, you knew that wouldn't last.
No,
The things
not-
that won't last, you already know what they are.
Right, and then you look in the magazines and they say this is this season's trend or that season's
Yeah.
trend. And good, if you want one piece of the trend,
Right.
have fun with it.
And that's it.
And that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But
That's why I
stay
say
with
the
the
classic.
classics.
When people bring me in handbags, per se, because that's my thing, I always say the only bag that really holds its value, Chanel, Hermes, and Louis Vuitton. But Louis Vuitton, it holds its value to a certain point now because it's not the mono, it's the current Louis are quite different.
Oh yeah, very different. The designers are different.
Yes. So I remember the Louis Classic monogram always held its own until
The newer
the newer
designers,
ones came out.
yeah.
But a classic Chanel and Hermes, that's it.
Without question.
Yeah.
That's it.
And not all the
I
Chanels.
had the great pleasure and privilege when I was in Paris to be a visitor to Chanel's private apartments.
That must have been phenomenal.
That was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, this woman, you can say what you was so ahead of. She changed the face of fashion.
Yeah.
She really did.
Yeah.
And today, that little black dress
Yes.
that she created is still one of the most important things in your wardrobe.
Yeah.
Because you can take that black dress and put anything on top of it, and it looks great.
Yep.
All
True.
right?
Black.
Black is black.
Yeah, black is black.
Black is black.
Yeah.
Now, not to say that you don't want to punch a color if you want to, but
Yeah,
you
well,
can
I
add that
decided to
with an
punch quite a
accessory.
few colors, but
Yeah.
this is a dress that you don't wear all the time.
No.
It's like what because
This is to have fun with.
yeah, exactly.
This is to have fun
exactly.
in.
But black, you always feel smart and sophisticated,
Smart and sophisticated and everything else. But,
and sexy and flirty too
yeah,
at the same
that's
time.
true, too. And again, the other thing, I'm going to go back to undergarments because that is so important for a woman, to make sure that those undergarments fit you properly.
Right.
To make sure that you go to a place that knows how to fit you, because a lot of the people who sell in these shops are not experienced fitters. They're there as salespeople.
Most of them aren't. I don't know anyone that I fit myself, but that's not right.
Well,
now.
there are a couple shops, believe it or not, down in Fort Lauderdale
Yeah.
that do specialize in that. But you got to be willing to take the trip.
Sure.
All right, interesting. I was watching, and I'm a TC Turner Classic Movie.
Oh,
fan
yes,
because of
yes.
the clothing.
Yes.
I mean, nobody dressed like Rosalind Russell
Oh.
in those old movies with
I
those
love that. I
jackets.
love that
But
look.
what was interesting was I was watching a movie, and I forget the name of it, but it had Ida Lupino in it.
Oh, remember?
And she was dressed so magnificently
Mm-hmm.
and in very much the style that is in today.
Yeah.
And if you look at those old movies and you see the way they put these people together,
Yeah.
you'll see what fashion is all about.
It's the wider show. The wider
Well,
show.
it was very interesting. She had a pair of very soft, flowing pants, which are very
Annie,
popular
remember
today.
Annie Hall's movie?
Yeah.
Is it similar to
But
that?
almost in a silk or poly fabric.
Right.
They were just soft and flowing. And then she had on a short jacket
Mm-hmm.
that was pinched but
Right.
came down in the back. It's just it could be worn today.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could be worn today.
Well, a lot of things that if something like someone brought something into me today and it was dated. Now there's a good dated and a bad dated, and there are items that are dated, but then I would keep it. If you buy a classic
No,
from,
never classics are
from
very-
20, 30 years ago, it will come back. If you buy something that is all full of beads and beading and that is more apt not to come back.
No,
don't you
it's
think?
absolutely not
Yeah.
to come back. The other thing that we try to push our clients into is they will get this phone call. I've got a black tie affair. I've got to get a dress. No, you don't have to get a dress. What you have to get is a fabulous skirt.
Yeah. Yep.
A fabulous skirt that's classic and simple, whether it's straight line, whether it's ball gown. And then we work different tops with it. Again, people look at you from the waist up.
That's true.
This is waist
That's
up.
true.
I have a bronze and gold and silver beaded skirt from Bagley Mishka.
Oh, yeah.
That, well, it was a fortune. I mean, I'll be very honest. And I really stretched to get it.
Yeah.
But it's in my closet, and I can wear it today with a black sweater.
Right.
I can wear it today with a white shirt.
Yeah.
I can wear it today with a
T-shirt,
halter top.
even a little T-shirt.
You know, a halter top.
Yeah, yeah.
It just goes. I really believe in investing in separates for evening. Because once you wear a gown, it's a gown.
Yeah, that's true. And you can't wear it again.
Right.
Whereas the other pieces you break apart and you can wear them at different times.
And you're certainly not going to walk around like they do on the red carpet with half your yin yangs.
Right. That's right. I see that. I'm like, wow.
You know, we're doing that. It's a red carpet. They don't dress like that every day.
Exactly.
They're in blue jeans and T-shirts.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, just like us.
Yeah.
So it really is a fun type of thing to be involved in.
Yeah. And once again, how do people find you?
They find us by calling 561-235-5353. That's our phone number. We are thinking of putting together a website, but it just becomes so inundated that we can't absolutely take care of everyone.
Is it cost efficient? Like what do you...
It's cost efficient. We take a deposit, all right, for $200.
Right.
And then we come in, get your consultation.
Right.
If you don't want us, we return the deposit but you have to do it within 10 days.
Okay.
All right, which we think is fair. And then we go through everything and we charge by the hour.
Right.
If we think something is going to be extensive, we try to come up with a flat price.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, no, we try to be fair with everybody, especially people who have lost a loved one.
Right, that's true.
That's very hard.
Sandy, thank you. We have to go.
We have to go. We've had so much fun talking about fashion.
We will have to do this again.
Anytime.
We can have part two. I
It'd be
love
my
on part
pleasure.
twos. I haven't had one yet, but I have. This was
Part
lovely.
two?
Part two.
We could do part 2, part 3, and part 4.
There you go. Thank you so much, Sandy.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for having come to me.
Oh, no,
and having
I
to walk in the store. Yeah, thank you for the evening.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Good night, and I'll see you next week. Serendipity Style.
Thank you for watching Serendipity Style. I hope you enjoyed our show tonight, and I look forward to sharing with you again. Please visit Serendipity East, now located at 111 East Palmetto Park Road, Boca, 1 block east of Federal Highway on the north side. See you next week. Have a good evening.
Crazy. Well, salud. I'm loving it.
Go to www.vitalizerapp.com and make your smartphone brilliant.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Hi, this is Faith. Welcome to the Faith Washington Show. We will discuss life, business, leadership, family, and fun, and what happens when your view of the world expands. A wide variety of guests will provide insight on how they do business, family, and leadership in their lives. So now, here's today's show. Good evening, folks. Thanks so much for joining us. We are live on Facebook and Periscope at the Faith Washington Show, and we are also live on 95.3 FM, 1470 AM, and the iHeartRadio app. Wow. I have an amazing guest here tonight. Her name is Gianni Adamo. Thank you so much for coming, Gianni.
Thank you, Faith, for having me.
And we are going to speak about fearless love. She is a licensed mental health counselor and a certified relationship coach. And how about if you tell us what your practice is about? Yes, please.
Yeah, I'd love to. I am a licensed mental health counselor and a certified relationship coach. In fact, I just got an award last week, and I've been named the Relationship Coach of the Year by Women in E-Commerce. And there was like a whole big reception down in Fort Lauderdale. This was last Friday. So it's a great honor, and it was given to me because I am an expert in my field, and I'm using the internet to educate and empower others in the area of mental health, in the area of healthy relationships, and knowing the difference between toxic relationships and healthy relationships.
Awesome.
Yes, so it's a great honor. So anyway, what do? I do specialize in creating safe and intimate relationships with singles and couples who desire to be committed and monogamous with one another and be married and live hopefully happily ever after.
Is there really a happily ever after?
I think there's some bumps in the road to the happily ever after.
I think you're right.
I also work with individuals who are divorcing, individuals who are grieving, who have lost a loved one, or just through divorce or abuse have lost a loved one.
Right.
Because that's also very traumatic. So I work with trauma and abuse as well. And that's obviously a lot of grief work. So I sit with my clients, help them to restore, help them to see the truth, especially when there's a lot of trauma involved, a lot of psychological abuse. They need to come back and be restored back to health again and understand that it really was not their fault. And this is something that most people don't understand. The victim was not at fault. Basically, when you're in an abusive relationship, if you're involved with a narcissist or someone who's emotionally abusing you, they're just dangling you in the relationship, and your brain is not even catching half of this because it's like undermining you. It's under the current. You're not really seeing it. So it's very hard to determine when you are in the middle of that. It's later on when you start seeing the red flag and you start seeing like, wow, I missed all of this stuff. So there's usually like a lot of disbelief, a lot of self-doubt that individuals have, and all of that has to be restored. We have to heal all that and help the client come back to wholeness again.
Well, one of the words you used is dangling, and that I think was in reference to, like we discussed before the show, the narcissistic type relationship. Maybe you could kind of expound on that just a little bit. I mean, we can't go into too much depth here, but what does that look like? What does that look like from kind of both sides of the fence? And if you could just give us a little bit of information.
Part of the problem is that there's usually a lot of lies and deception involved with a narcissist. So that's the beginning of the problems.
Okay.
That you don't have solid ground.
Okay.
Every time you say your truth or the truth, something is being spun for you. They're not taking full responsibility. They're not being held accountable, and they will not allow themselves to be held accountable. And yet in marriage and in a committed relationship, we are accountable to one another. And when you are loving that person, your brain is set up, and you're wired to love, by the way. We are wired to love. So our brain is set up that we are always going to consistently be looking for the connection. So anytime there's a break in our relationship, we're just wired to see connection. So we're always going to see their best, and we're going to try to believe them, especially in the beginning when you're in the honeymoon phase still.
Right.
And then eventually you're very much entrenched because now you probably have the children, you have a house, you have a mortgage, you have financial responsibilities, the community's behind you, you have things entrenched in the community and your family members. So you don't break a marriage up overnight. There's so many things and so many layers that have to come undone before you can finally walk away. So it's not that easy. So coming back to what underlines some of this abusive stuff is lies and deception. And then there's this control. There's control and power and control. They do not allow you to be in your own power. Like we said, you are hinging on them. And that's because they're emotionally manipulating you. So with emotional abuse, they're basically chiseling away at your power. So
that you are disempowered, so that you are not the powerful being that you really are. You're this doubting, disempowered, wow, this is all I deserve. This is all I get because it's crumbs. It's all I deserve.
Yes, exactly. And they use a lot of the dangling and suspension type of games. So they're always promising you something. There's always a promise. You're like, oh, here comes another promise. They're never going to verbally abuse you again. They're never going to call you names. They're never going to call you fat. They're never going to call you ugly. They're never going to whatever. They're always promising you, oh, they're going to take you away on this great vacation. We're going to reconcile our relationship. There's always like,
oh, they're going to go to
something.
counseling. They're
Yes.
going to, oh, I'm going to get better. This is just, I'm really not this way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're always promising you like there's going to be something better coming.
Mm-hmm.
So then, once again, your brain is set up to
Connect
and to believe, because if you don't have trust, then you don't really have a relationship.
Good point.
There's no relationship without trust. And that goes for any kind of relationship, whether it's a professional relationship, business, relational, personal, intimate relationship. You
Friendships,
definitely, friendships.
anything.
You need trust. So the reality is, because the trust is constantly being broken and your confidence is always being broken, you're always seeking after them to validate and to give you proper answers, but yet you're always kept dangling, and you either have to just accept and go into silence. Usually you just go into silence, you just stop arguing.
Exactly. You just, there's no more fight left because you're so sick and tired of it that you say, okay, well, all right, this is the way it is. And that's that. And wow, I just have to resign yourself to this is my lot in life and this is what it looks like.
And behind the scenes, your self-esteem is being ebbed
Crushed.
away
Crushed.
into zero.
Yeah.
No self-esteem.
Yeah.
Your sense of
Self-doubt,
confidence.
your, like you were saying, your sense of beauty and how you think about yourself or you view yourself, because it's all been
crushed,
squashed.
So that's all part of the narcissistic abuse, where you're kind of just left empty and feeling stripped. If that is you, you know you've been dealing with a narcissist for sure. Okay. And actually, that's actually one of the biggest red flags to figure out what's going on.
Okay, so tell our audience
yes.
what here, look in this camera. Tell our audience, what is that red flag?
Okay. You have to trust your intuition.
Thank you.
You have to trust your feelings.
Your gut instinct.
Yes.
If you know that this doesn't feel good, guess what? It's not good. Yeah. Run.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Run.
Run, and as quickly as just run. And it's funny because I had my intuition tell me once that I was in trouble, that this person did not possess a conscience. And I did not listen to my intuition. I know, bad decision.
No, it's not.
Very bad decision.
Right, but you know something, in that moment, because we're looking to fill a hole.
And we think everybody's good. Oh, we think everybody's good and
wonderful. We give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
But the problem is that we give them the benefit of the doubt, but we're not giving ourselves the benefit of the doubt. And therefore, that's how we get embroiled in these types of situations. And you know something? I can't say that anyone's to blame, so to speak, because I think every human starts out with good intention. I think only the toxic or the malignant narcissists are the ones who don't start out with a good intention.
That's
Their
correct.
intentions are quite evil.
Yes.
That's what I always call unadulterated evil. Scary evil.
They are scary. Yeah, I ended up with a sociopath, and I did not listen to my intuition. But he was very sweet and charming, as you could imagine, because they really are.
Right. Oh, absolutely. They're charismatic.
Yes.
Very charismatic.
Very charismatic.
On the surface.
And
that surface.
And I had known him already as an acquaintance for over a year. So then when your gut and your intuition all of a sudden tells you there's something wrong, there's no conscience here, and you have nothing to back it up, that's the problem. Because then I went back into the history. I've known this man for a year. He's held on to a marriage for 20 years. You know, he was divorced at that point. He's got children, which seem well-adjusted. He's got a career. He does well in his career. So why would I think he's a sociopath?
You're looking at the external evidence going,
Yes.
well, for all intents and purposes,
he's so normal.
It looks normal to me, but really my gut's telling me,
yes, run. And I really did. My God actually told me to run. So I ended up thinking I was going to run. So I was like, thank you very much. Have a great life.
Right.
But unfortunately, he had already triggered my chemistry. So it was too late for me, because when your chemistry is triggered.
In the brain.
Yes.
The chemicals are released, the oxytocin, the feel-good, the
dopamine.
bonding, the oxytocin and dopamine, once they're released, and you feel that that bond, it's really tough.
Yes. Now your attachment system has been activated.
Right.
You're now bonding with this person for good, for bad, or for ugly. Well, for me, it was for ugly because he ended up being a sociopath. I'm laughing, but like he was. He had no conscience. And I can laugh about it now. I have written a book about this.
And a lot of healing had to go into that. And what's the name of that book? Because it's not out yet, folks. It's in the editing phase. But what is the name of your book?
It's called Love Trauma. I don't have the final name for the book yet because it's an editorial phase.
Keep it short.
Okay.
Yeah,
but basically, I am giving 7 tango lessons for healing emotional and sexual abuse after a relationship with a narcissist, a psychopath, or other toxic people.
Okay.
Because that's basically what they're using. They're using their tools to manipulate and control us as emotional abuse, period.
Do you really believe that they're completely cognizant of what they're doing? Or do you believe, okay, all right, there are varying levels of this, or do you believe that they're using these tools as survival mechanisms to get the legitimate needs that they have met in an illegitimate way?
They are in survival mode, yes.
Right,
that's the first thing. Most of these individuals have been hurt and wounded in childhood.
Could be sexually abused, emotionally abused, neglected, abandonment. All these issues come into play with someone who is exhibiting these types of behaviors. And I believe in the good of everyone, so I always think, well, you know what? They're really not doing it intentionally unless they're malignant or the toxic kind. Do you believe that these individuals could heal from this?
Okay, so the situation is that if they have an actual personality disorder, these are fixed personality traits. So they believe that there's nothing wrong with them.
Right.
They think that their reality is perfectly fine.
Okay.
They believe that you have the problem and all of your complaints and emotional outbursts are the problem because obviously you're reacting to their abuse. So they've learned these tactics in survival mode. They've had to grow up in a household, usually most likely
with all those things.
Yes, with all those things present. So in order to survive, they've learned these tactics. And they just haven't outgrown them. But the problem is that they keep doing it over and over again in adulthood, seeing the pain it causes their loved ones and their friends or their coworkers. And now at this point, they're getting their high anyway. They're getting they have an inflated ego and they need to feed their ego. So this is how they feed their ego. They have a power trip. So they love to see other people squirm. So they love to dangle other human beings and exploit them. It's all about exploitation. So those who have like the sociopathy, psychopathy, they just get a high out of exploiting people. So a malignant narcissist is a sociopath, is a psychopath. So all of the psychopath type of people, they are narcissists, but not all narcissists are sociopaths
or psychopaths. Okay. Yeah, there is a little bit of
overlap.
There's some overlap, but there's also some delineation that's pretty clear if you study it closely enough. So the book is going to be about the lessons, 7
tango lessons.
Tango lessons.
Yes.
And then how to work through those things? Are you going to delineate
it's a journey.
that? Or
the book is actually a story, and it's a journey where Elena, the protagonist, has ended the relationship, or they've ended. It's been a year afterwards, and she's kind of starting to wake up and realize that he's not a normal man. And it normally takes about a year. When a person has been involved with the sociopath, and most of the psychopaths are males, unfortunately, there's not a lot of females. It's mostly males that go to that extreme.
But females can also.
But yeah, it's very small percentage. It's like 0.5% in the U.S. of female sociopaths.
Wow.
The majority are males.
Okay.
So when you have been involved with a sociopath to that degree, it takes about a year for you to start waking up from the fog to recognize that he wasn't a normal man, that he actually was a sociopath, because there was so many lies and deception involved in the relationship that and you have so much self-doubt, you have so much disbelief, you have also some layers of denial because there was just so much going on that was just unrealistic to you. And it takes about a year for you to start thawing out and recognizing the signs, and then getting help and reading the books and understanding, wow, I was in love and with a toxic human being who did not have the capacity to love at all.
Right.
And that's what's the sad part. When we as human beings are involved with someone who's loveless, it strips us, and then it makes us feel like anger and bitterness because we loved, but we can't do that.
Nope.
The problem wasn't us, it was them.
Right, but I think that's where the turning point occurs, is when as you call them, the victim or the person who was involved in this with a toxic individual actually is able to step outside of that and go, wow,
Healing,
it's okay. I did this. I need to be okay with the fact that I did this so that I can move forward and heal and never go through this again.
You are the victim of emotional abuse, and until you don't understand that, your recovery will not be complete.
And emotional abuse, as we talked about before the show, this is very interesting. Like, you can see physical abuse, sexual abuse, all these things can be validated, but emotional abuse can't be validated because it's internal.
Yes.
It's within you. Like you said, the bleeding is internal. And
there are no bruises on the outside. The bruising's inside. No one sees
that you have actually encountered this kind of person, and they would never know.
It is so dark, and it's so evil, and it's so cruel, because the perpetrator knows that they have isolated you, because that's another part of the red flags.
Huge isolation, keeping you in one place, doing the same thing over and over again, and you just can't move out of that.
Yeah, and they usually at the end of the day end up controlling the finances, controlling social stuff, where they don't participate with family events a lot of times.
Do they have friendships?
Do
the narcissists have friends?
Oh yes. Oh, they have a fan. They have fans, because they know how to charm. They know how to charm everyone.
But their acquaintances, they're not deep friendships.
Of course not. Yes.
That's the differentiation. Is they're only superficial friendships. They're not deep.
But those other human beings, if they have a heart, they may believe that they have a close friendship with the narcissist. Because if the narcissist is playing them,
they make them feel. They make them feel that way. It's like they can make the other person feel that way, but do they extend themselves, and do people really get to know them?
Yes.
If anybody says, do you know this person? And they'd be like, well, no, not really. I find that fascinating.
It's true.
Fascinating.
So it's shattering for us, like I said, who get involved with these individuals, because it's so dark. But part of the journey of healing is to ultimately forgive ourselves and being involved with a loveless individual. That's just, it's as simple as that. I know it sounds simple, but at the end of the day, it's a journey to get to that simplicity, that it's just a journey of allowing ourselves the ability to let go, forgive them, and forgiving ourselves, and move on and reestablish a healthy life, and finding a normal human being who can love you.
Wait, normal.
Yeah,
okay.
Not a narcissist.
Gianni, all right, wait a second. I always tell people, normal is the setting on a dryer. None of us is normal. I don't believe that any of us are normal.
A narcissist is not normal, yes.
Agreed.
But someone who can love you and be safe for you, reliable for you, that would be normal. Right. Someone who's dependable and accountable.
Who can communicate with you and literally shares in that desire to communicate clearly and to communicate regularly. And I think that's one of the missing pieces with...
But some of those narcissists do communicate. They're excellent. In fact, some of them are on the radio. They're on TV, because they're very articulate.
Right, and charming.
And charming. And usually good looking. So, they win lots of points with that. Yes.
Right. But the superficiality... Right, the superficiality of that, there isn't a lot of depth.
No depth. So this is why when you are looking to be Mr. or Miss Right, you're looking for character. You're looking for someone with substance, whose yes is yes. If they're going to call you, they actually call you. Right. When you text them, they actually respond. They're not counting 2 days and 3 hours for them to finally respond to you. Like, who does that? Like, really? Those are insecure people playing games.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is that I think on that journey to healing is that you begin to understand your own insecurities. You begin to see, wow, you know what? This is where I fell down, and this is what I felt, and because I wasn't really fully operating in my own personal power, that's why you were looking for it in someone else who has those traits, those character traits that are external, because, you know, your depth is inward and theirs is outward. So you kind of look for someone who's like opposites attract, is what people
Opposites
say.
do attract.
They attract, but it doesn't mean that they're always appropriately paired together.
Yeah. I actually want to speak to, I think there's a myth in our society that says that we must love ourselves like almost wholly and completely before we can find this wonderful other half.
Yeah, I hear
And
that.
that's
I hear
BS.
that. I hear that. I hear that a lot because I don't know of anyone who's just
Because
completely thrilled with themselves.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who's perfect?
no one.
Nobody.
Thank you. Thank you. No one is perfect.
We're full of drama. We've got
Yeah.
history. We've got baggage.
Wait, drama?
Yes,
Excuse
we've got
me,
drama.
darling. Let's hear that again. Can you look into your camera and tell me if you think you don't have drama in your life?
We do.
Think again.
Yes, we have drama. Yes. We have drama, trauma. We've got it all. We've got it all going on.
It's the drama trauma.
So,
I mean, people have that inside, and unless you heal it, or you actively looking to, you know,
yes,
kind of neutralize that.
But here's the truth. Here's what I want. I definitely want you guys to take this one away. It's not that you need to love yourself perfectly, because we're on a journey to learning how to love.
Right.
We're all on a journey, so we're not going to be perfect ever, and that's okay. It's about accepting our vulnerabilities, our humanness.
Yes.
But it's about finding a partner who's also honest and sincere and has the capacity to love.
And to love, forgive, and
yes.
really, you know, learn. You learn and grow. You learn and grow together.
Yeah.
So to me, that's kind of what it's all about. It's just my thought.
You grow together in love. That's the whole
thought.
journey. The whole journey is about growing together in love as a couple, as human beings. We evolve, we grow, we heal. Love is very healing. So when you have a healthy partner who is a non-narcissist, who can talk with you, who can share his life with you, who isn't living behind closets and secrecy and deception, you're free to attach and to bond, and then focus your attention outward and build your empire, you know, whatever that may be.
Exactly. Build the empire. Yeah, baby, that's why we're here. We're here to build empires. We're not here to build little things. And that was something that we spoke about too, is that you built your business, all right? This wonderful practice that you have. How many years did it take you? You started from grassroots, from the ground up, at the recession time.
Yes. Oh my God, it was awful.
And I want to hear about that. Our audience wants. We've only got a couple minutes, so talk about that.
All right. So I arrived here in 2010, right in the middle of the recession, and no one knew how long this recession was going to last.
Right.
And I came by myself. I had divorced after 15 years of marriage, so I was with the same man. We were still friends. We have a very amicable divorce. After 17 years of being with the same man, I moved to South Florida, and I had no idea this was like the mecca of like sex and love addictions and crazy people. But anyway,
wait,
I became one of them. That's the whole funny thing. Because I'm not leaving. I'm staying.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So in the middle of me starting over, I had to, obviously in Florida, they don't reciprocate with other states on licensures.
Of course
not. We're very special here, and I get why we're special now.
You know why we're special,
yes,
girlie.
I know exactly why we're special.
That's right. It's called the retirees are not allowed to come down here and practice when they're not able to practice.
Yes, there you go. So I did. It was a grassroots effort for me. I joined the chamber. I joined leads groups. I started writing. That's how I started writing, by the way. And now I'm
journaling.
Yes. No, writing my blogs. And I've been featured in many different places. I get syndicated.
Oh, nice.
That's one of the ways that a lot of people find me, through my blogs. And actually, you can go to fearlesslove.net.
Fearlesslove.net. And what else?
That's my website.
Okay.
So www.fearlesslove.net. And if you go to the blog section, there's a ton of fantastic blogs. A lot of them have been syndicated.
Okay.
And I've gotten so many wonderful feedback and so many wonderful people emailing me, thanking me for writing. And, you know, one of those stories, actually, let me give you, we only have 2 minutes.
Yeah, we only got a couple.
Okay, so I can't give you stories.
Okay.
Could I give you a story?
No. If it's like 30 seconds.
I actually got I've had several men email me about thanking me about writing about narcissists, and psychopaths, because it actually answered the questions onto the type of men that or man that their daughters were married to. So I get even men who absolutely love my blogs and my articles.
That's fantastic. And that's something that's really important, is that, you know what, you really want to make sure your daughter isn't going down that path. And if you see it, they can even net you in so that you believe that they're perfectly A-okay. Gianni, I have enjoyed this so very much, and this is what we're going to do. When her book comes out, I'm going to have her back on the show. We're going to talk about the book, how you can get the book, and maybe have some callers call in and we'll give the book away.
Oh, yeah, that'll be great.
I would just love to see the progression here and kind of keep track of as your career builds and grows. You know, despite the challenges, you've built and made a wonderful practice, and it takes a lot to do that. It takes a lot of grit and determination to build any business.
Oh, yes.
But something where you're dealing with folks, it's not easy. But thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Faith.
Thank you so much, folks, for joining us. We are live here on Facebook, Periscope, The Faith Washington Show, and we are also live on 95.3 FM, 1470 AM, and the iHeartRadio app. We'll see you next week, Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. See ya. You've been listening and watching The Faith Washington Show, where we have widened your view of the world. Our guests share their business, family, and fun life hacks to make your world better. Hope you've learned something to apply to your life and business.
The opinions expressed